Donovan, I'll give you my Super Bowl pick, and then we'll work our way back. I have the Patriots and the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, that's a great choice. Last year I had Seattle and New England, and obviously New England lost to the Denver Broncos. And I can go along definitely with the New England pick of them being able to get over the hump over the Denver Broncos. It just seems that I don't know what's going on in New England, but Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just has the formula in order to get through the regular season with 11-5, 12-4 type of record. And find themselves in the AFC Championship. So I can go along with that. Now, as far as the Green Bay Packers, I can't put the Green Bay Packers over the Seattle Seahawks, nor can I put them really over the San Francisco 49ers. I'm just still worried about that defense. I think with bringing in Julius Peppers, it adds another dimension to the pass rush. But losing B.J. Raji for the season, the corners are still kind of just average to me. And can Clinton Ha-Ha Dix be that safety presence that they need, that they've been missing since Charles Woodson? That's kind of the big question for me, not so much on offense, but more importantly, the defense. Can they create turnovers and get the ball back to their offense, which we know can score points if they are all healthy?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up. I think Seattle's a better team than Green Bay, but I'm also looking at the end of the year. Is Green Bay going to be playing at home? So I'm thinking about how's this play out at the end of the year. Over the course of a season, who's a better team, but who can be great for one day? And if that's at Lambeau, which is what I'm counting on, then I'm going to roll the dice there on Green Bay over Seattle.
You're banking that really Seattle's probably going to have a give or take a 10-6 type of record, and Green Bay somehow sneaks themselves in a position where they win their division, and maybe Seattle loses to San Francisco, and it goes back to Green Bay. I don't see that happening by any means.
Yeah, but it's always tough when people expect you to be great because, I mean, it doesn't happen.
Well, the whole thing about it is I look at both divisions. Now, we can look at the North, and really I can't pick one top defense in the division that would even remotely be the best in that division. I mean, you look at the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, to me, you still wonder who's going to fill the spot of Jared Allen, who's going to be the presence of Kevin Williams. Their linebacking core is still a question to me. I like Chad Greenway, but who's going to be the middle linebacker to set the tone? And then you go to the secondary. I mean, I'm a big Harrison fan. I think the kid has such a presence, a big playability, but I just don't see them being able to establish anything. And then we've seen Chicago through the preseason. It's just entirely too many questions, even though they have Jared Allen and Lamar Houston. But their secondaries, to me, may be the worst in that division, even compared to Detroit, which we know have had issues. And to go to Detroit, I mean, how many penalties will they get this year? I mean, that's the question for Detroit. And it's just, to me, when you think of Green Bay, we always think offense first. Well, Clay Matthews, can he stay healthy for a season?
Yep.
I mean, he's the big presence, the big name, even with Julius Peppers there, but he always seems to get hurt somewhere in mid-season, and then he's fighting to get himself back toward the end. So it's just entirely too many questions when it comes to the North. Now, I'll tell you a team really don't sleep on that I think really can be that team is the New Orleans Saints. Now, I love their division because I think Tampa will probably win that division. But I look at the New Orleans Saints, and nobody really give them credit. And I move past the offense. I like their defense with Rob Ryan now coming back in his second season. His two safeties can go up there probably with Tampa and Golston and Barron. When you have Jarius Byrd and you also have Carr, two safeties that create so much of a presence of receivers coming over the middle. And then at the quarterback position, I look at Keenan Lewis as one of the top in that division since now that Darrelle Revis has left, and they're creating pass rush.
He's Donovan McNabb, Fox Sports 1, NBC radio analyst, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Did you start, would you start 6 games your rookie year?
Yes. I came in in week 10. Actually, it was 5 because I got hurt for one game. But, you know, I was still rotating in, getting a series or two during games with Doug Peterson.
What if you had started week 1?
It wouldn't have been pretty. and I can only be honest. And it's funny because I was having this conversation a couple of times with some former players, and you know, it seems that the coaching, these quarterbacks are getting these tutelage from these quarterback trainers or gurus, whoever you want to call them. So they're fundamentally sound coming out of high school, going into college. They're seeing these blitzes all through the college level of just how sophisticated they are, and they're running these pro style type offenses in college. So when they come into the NFL, pretty much you just have to adjust to the speed of the game, continue to fine tune your weaknesses, and recognize these blitzes and these different coverages that you'll be seeing. So they're well advanced than we were coming out. Now mentally, I really don't know how these kids will be able to handle the up and down, the hurdles, the adversity, especially early on in their career. We've seen quarterbacks that have just faltered because, they just can't handle the pressure, and it messes up their whole career.
I can't imagine going into that NFL huddle as a rookie, and you're looking around, and you just – because they're going to throw everything they can possibly throw at you. Your teammates are looking at you going, man, is this guy worth a first-round pick?
Right.
I don't know how these guys are able to process. Even if I knew everything about the NFL, even knew the speed, knew the plays, but there's still that moment where you go to the line of scrimmage and you probably look over at the defense and going, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, it's funny. Peyton and I was having this conversation. I think it was my second year in the league and his third. And just trying to talk to different quarterbacks who have done it before me. And, Peyton and I both just talked about it. Earlier in your career, it seems like you're reading half of the field. You're not seeing the whole field. And if you're playing early, by mid-season, toward the end of the season, it starts to open up a little bit more for you. But the thing that Derek Carr is going to see, he's going to see different blitzes, and he's going to be able to read half of the field. Now, if you're asking him to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 reads in a progression, that's not going to happen. You're going to see a guy out there in Oakland that may look like Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert just did not get better all throughout his first couple years in Jacksonville, but that's the way I think Derek Carr is going to look. Now, he's going to show flashes of brilliance. Oh, this kid has a strong arm. Then, of course, us as media members, we're going, is this the best rookie quarterback that we've seen since, John Elway? It's one of those. And I think what's really hurting a lot of these rookie quarterbacks is the way that Andrew Luck and RG3 played in their rookie season. So now all of a sudden everybody thinks all rookie quarterbacks are supposed to play like that. And it's unfair to them. It's unfair really to the former players who have played. And it's unfair for the criticism that people from the outside are giving them because they're young. They don't know. They may have one good game, but they'll have 4 bad games in a row. It's things like that. But the thing that I worry about are these coaches. These coaches who are putting these young quarterbacks in there, they're already on the hot seat. Yeah. Are they trying to buy time for themselves, or are they, just going with what they can? Because if you take the kid out, you're hurting his career pretty much.
Michael Sam is not on an NFL roster because
he went to the wrong team, and it was just entirely too many defensive ends that were ahead of him. If he would have went to another team, I think he would have made it. I think the experience was really good for him in St. Louis because he had a chance to learn under Quinn and Long and all these guys, even learn under Westbrooks, a guy who they said he was competing with, guy, Division II kid, he was the defensive player of the year in Division II, had been there already a year, so he was coming back and he learned from last year. And he understood about the competition. Now, we can look at his numbers. We look at all the rookies' numbers, but we don't realize that's the preseason. Can you do that in the regular season? No, I don't think so. Now, he's a high-motor guy. He's well-deserving of being on someone's practice squad. But I think just the outside attention is what's shying away from a lot of these teams because they're not trying to bring all of that attention over, especially early part of the season where you're trying to establish yourself as a good football team.
8 for 21, 60 yards passing, 49 yards rushing, no TDs, no picks, and you beat Washington 35-28.
Yeah, it was, you recognize things and being able to process it and get it out is just not that easy. Fortunately for me, I had a good defense. We had a running game. And I just tried not to lose the game and try to make as many plays as I could to help win.
Good to visit with you again, Donovan. Thanks for joining us.
You're the man. I hope my picture looks good, too, on the screen.
Oh, it looks real good.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, you're the best.
Yeah, thank you, bud. That's Donovan McNabb, Fox Sports 1, their NFL coverage during the fall. Fox Sports 1 NFL kickoff pregame coverage.